The Texas sun hung heavy over the small, quiet streets of Houston in June 2018. On June 21st, 29-year-old Women, a dedicated paralegal and loving mother, said goodbye to her daughter Destiny before heading to work. It was the last time anyone would see her alive. As the hours ticked by, something didn't seem right. Co-workers received strange text messages from hers phone saying she would be late, but they didn't sound like her. The sense of foreboding only grew when, later that evening, her truck was found abandoned on a desolate street, but there was no sign of her. In the 5 years that followed, her family, friends, and law enforcement were forced to endure the agony of uncertainty. Where was she? What happened to her? The answers seemed elusive until one fateful day in 2023, when a breakthrough finally came. A man who was once close to her, her personal trainer, a man who had become obsessed with her, was arrested after evading authorities for years. But while the arrest brought a sense of justice, it also left the biggest question unanswered. Where is she? The case remains shrouded in mystery, with disturbing allegations of murder and dismemberment. Join us as we delve into this chilling tale of obsession, betrayal, and a hunt for truth that spanned 5 long years. Hello, I'm Adam from Mystery Pulse, and today's case is one of mystery and tragedy. This is the story of Maria Jimenez Rodriguez, a woman whose life was cut short under unspeakable circumstances. Maria Jimenez Rodriguez was more than just a paralegal at the Millage law firm in Houston, Texas. She was a devoted mother to her young daughter, Destiny, and a beloved friend to those who knew her. Described as bright, energetic, and compassionate, Maria had worked hard to build a stable life for her family. On the morning of June 21st, 2018, Maria dropped her daughter off with a babysitter, just as she did every day before heading to her job. But the key figure in this tragic case wasn't just Maria, it was Eric Arsenault, a 51-year-old personal trainer who had crossed paths with her through the gym. Arsenault had developed an obsession with Maria. While her family insisted they were never romantically involved, Arsenault believed otherwise. His advances grew more intense, despite Maria's apparent disinterest in a relationship beyond professional training. At the time of Maria's disappearance, Arsenault had become a fixture in her life. He had even befriended Maria's daughter and became a part of her social circle. However, those close to Maria began noticing signs of discomfort. Arsenault's behavior started to take a darker turn, with relentless texts and phone calls that Maria found increasingly disturbing. He began to stalk her, sending her notes and messages that hinted at a growing obsession. Maria's family later learned that Arsenault had a troubled past, including a conviction for aggravated assault in 2011. In that case, he had threatened to kill a woman he had been dating, and the details of the assault were chillingly similar to the patterns seen in his behavior toward Maria. Yet despite these red flags, he was allowed to remain in Maria's life, drawing closer to her in a way that would ultimately lead to disaster. On June 21, 2018, Maria vanished without a trace. Her disappearance would trigger a police investigation, but the answers would not come easily. What began as a missing persons case would soon evolve into something much darker. June 21st, 2018. Maria Jimenez Rodriguez's routine was like any other. She dropped her daughter off at the babysitter's house, but she never showed up for work at the Millage law firm. Her co-workers received a series of strange text messages, one of which stated that she would be late. Messages that didn't sound like Maria. By the evening, when Maria had not returned to pick up her daughter, the family grew concerned. June 21st, 2018. Later, Maria's truck was found abandoned near a rail yard just blocks from the babysitter's house. The truck was empty, but Maria's purse and phone were missing. Her family called the police, and a missing persons report was filed. The authorities soon questioned Eric Arsenault, who claimed to have seen Maria the night before. According to him, they had plans to meet the following morning, but she had not shown up. He didn't seem concerned. August 2019. The investigation into Maria's disappearance began to take shape. Authorities focused on Arsenault, especially after cell phone data revealed troubling evidence. Maria's phone had been tracked to locations close to Arsenault's home on the day she disappeared. Further investigation revealed that Arsenault had visited a Home Depot store, purchasing a chainsaw and industrial-sized trash bags around the same time Maria's phone was still active in the area. August 2019 continued. Surveillance footage confirmed that Arsenault had been in the store. Police also discovered that blood had been found in Arsenault's home, which had been poorly cleaned. Authorities obtained an arrest warrant for Arsenault, charging him with murder. But by the time they were ready to arrest him, Arsenault had disappeared. September 2023. After 4 long years, Arsenault was captured in a Walmart parking lot in Houston. The Gulf Coast Violent Offender Task Force had tracked him down, bringing a long-awaited sense of relief to Maria's family. But despite this breakthrough, the biggest question remained. Where was Maria? The case of Maria Jimenez Rodriguez captivated the public's attention for years. From the moment she disappeared, the mystery surrounding her case became one of the most talked about stories in Houston. As new details emerged, the chilling nature of the crime shocked the community. The thought that someone close to Maria, her personal trainer, could be capable of such violence left many wondering how well they truly know the people in their lives. News outlets across Texas reported on the case extensively, often focusing on the disturbing nature of the crime. A woman, a mother, allegedly dismembered with a chainsaw. The image of a strong, independent woman who had been living a fulfilling life, suddenly erased in such a brutal and gruesome way, resonated deeply with the public. There was widespread outrage not only over the crime, but also over the fact that the perpetrator had evaded justice for so long. The case also raised serious questions about domestic violence and the dangers of obsessive relationships. As Arsenault's past began to surface, his criminal history, and his obsession with Maria, the story struck a chord with many who had experienced similar situations or who were familiar with the complexities of abusive relationships. Public awareness about stalking and the warning signs of toxic relationships grew as people learned more about Maria's interactions with Arsenault. While the story was tragic, the coverage also brought attention to the long-lasting effects of violence on families. Maria's sister, Maria Jimenez, became the face of the case, speaking out tirelessly to keep the memory of her sister alive. Gloria's emotional plea for answers echoed across social media platforms, resonating with those who sympathized with her pain and loss. In the years following Maria's disappearance, the legal battle surrounding her case grew increasingly complex. Authorities struggled to catch Eric Arsenault, who had been living under an assumed identity and avoiding capture. The case was put on hold for years, with few leads to follow. The frustration of waiting for answers was exacerbated by the fact that Maria's body had never been found. In 2019, after mounting evidence pointed to Arsenault as the prime suspect, an arrest warrant was issued. However, despite the clear evidence linking him to the crime, Arsenault remained a fugitive. Police, the US Marshals, and the Gulf Coast Violent Offender Task Force spent years scouring the country for him. Finally, in 2023, authorities were able to track Arsenault down and apprehend him in Houston. Arsenault was charged with the murder of Maria Jimenez Rodriguez, accused of dismembering her body with a chainsaw and disposing of the remains. However, legal questions still loom. While Arsenault faces charges of murder, his defense team is likely to challenge the case, arguing that there is no body, and the evidence remains circumstantial. One of the most pressing legal issues surrounding the case is the question of what happened to Maria's remains. Without a body, it is more challenging for prosecutors to build a compelling case for murder. But the blood evidence found at Arsenault's home, combined with the disturbing purchase of a chainsaw and trash bags, is enough to secure a conviction if Arsenault is willing to confess to the location of her remains. The case is expected to continue in the coming months, with legal experts predicting that Arsenault could face a lengthy trial.
It's been 5 years of not knowing and waiting. The hardest part has been not having answers, not having Maria. When they arrested Eric, my heart did something I didn't expect. It was relief, yes, but also confusion. I want justice for my sister, but I also want to know where she is. It's torturous. Every day I wonder, what if I could have done something more? Why hasn't he told us where Maria is? Maria was everything to us. A loving mother, a hard worker. She loved her daughter more than anything in the world. We all thought Eric was just her trainer, but as we found out later, he became obsessed. I didn't know what was happening behind closed doors, and I feel like I should have. He was never the man he pretended to be.
I remember getting those strange text messages from Maria the day she went missing. They didn't sound like her. At the time, I just thought she was busy, or maybe stressed. But now, knowing what happened, it's heartbreaking. Maria never would have said those things. I think she was trying to tell us something, but we didn't understand.
Maria was like family to us. When she didn't show up that morning, we knew something was wrong. Her coworkers described those texts she sent as strange, almost robotic. They just didn't seem like her. And now, with everything that's come to light, we know why. I hope now that Eric is behind bars, Maria can finally have the justice she deserves.
From a law enforcement standpoint, this case has been one of the most perplexing. We had a victim, Maria, who disappeared without a trace and no body. But the evidence, like the surveillance footage from Home Depot and the phone records, led us to Eric Arsenault. The chilling part of this case is not just the brutality of the crime, but how he was able to evade capture for so long. We knew he was dangerous, and it's a relief to have him off the streets. We'll never fully know what happened to Maria, but we're determined to find out. The search for her remains continues, and I think it's only a matter of time before we uncover the truth.
In September 2023, after 5 long years on the run, Eric Arsenault was arrested by US Marshals outside a business in southeast Houston. Since then, he has been held in the Harris County Jail. The legal proceedings have begun, but Maria's body has yet to be found. With Arsenault's arrest, a long-awaited chapter in this case has finally begun to unfold. Arsenault, 51, stands accused of a gruesome crime that shocked Houston in 2018, the murder and dismemberment of 29-year-old Maria Jimenez Rodriguez with a chainsaw. Despite this, the absence of Maria's remains leaves a haunting question. Where is she? The case is still ongoing, but what remains clear is the resolve of her family, who continue to demand answers.
I just want to know where Maria is. He knows. He's the only one who knows. And every day that goes by without that answer, it's like we're left in the dark, still searching for a piece of her.
We're actively working with forensic teams to see if we can recover any more evidence. Arsenault's home was searched thoroughly, and blood evidence was found. But there's still a lot of unknowns. We'll keep pushing, keep searching, until we bring Maria home.
Maria's daughter, Destiny, was only 3 years old when her mother disappeared. Now, as she grows older, she faces the painful reality of growing up without knowing where her mother is. For her, the search is not just about justice, but also closure Every day, Maria's family holds on to the hope that one day they'll finally have the answers they've been denied for so long. As the investigation into Maria's murder continues, the story of Eric Arsenault becomes ever more complex. Was this a crime of obsession, or was there something darker at play? Whatever the truth may be, the search for justice and for Maria remains at the forefront of this ongoing tragedy. This case is a testament to the lengths families will go to for justice. Maria Jimenez Rodriguez's life was violently cut short, and despite her body still being missing, her family has not given up. For them, each passing year without answers is a painful reminder that justice is often a long, uncertain road.
We've seen cases like this before, where the lack of a body makes things more difficult. But with modern forensic techniques, we're not giving up. There's always hope that we'll find the truth and find Maria.
I don't know when we'll get closure, or if we ever will. But I know we're not going to stop. We'll keep pushing until we bring Maria home.
In the world of true crime, some stories are never truly over. The disappearance of Maria Jimenez Rodriguez is one such story, a tragedy marked by obsession, betrayal, and a brutal crime. But it's also a story of resilience, a family's determination to find justice and to bring home the answers they've been seeking for half a decade. Until then, they will wait. And though the journey for justice continues, the question remains, will Eric Arsenault ever reveal the truth? Only time will tell. This story is one of many that highlights the complex, often dark world of crime and mystery. As we've seen, even the most baffling cases can eventually lead to breakthroughs, sometimes years after the crime has occurred. But these cases are also about the people left behind, families who need answers, communities that need closure, and the hope that justice will prevail. If you found this documentary compelling, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with others. By spreading awareness, we help ensure that no one is forgotten and that justice is never delayed. And for those who are looking for more stories like Maria's, stories about resilience, courage, and the pursuit of truth, keep watching. There's always more to uncover. Join us in continuing to search for the truth. Because sometimes the answers we seek are just within reach. Together we can make sure that no one is left behind.